Happy Monday, Inspire Beauty. I asked a question in the chat, and some of you guys already started answering, but I want to know what the best part of your first week of March was. And so many of you guys are sharing that completing 9-week Control Freak was a big piece of that puzzle, right? Checking off those final boxes. So don't forget, I'm kicking off with some announcements, you guys. Don't forget to submit your results to the Beachbody Challenge, because with this particular program, you get the Be the Hustle tank, the one that is the 9-week Control Freak special tank. You're going to get that one. So it's while supplies last, of course, right? So you got to make sure that you are part of that first crew that gets the tank and starts rocking that. Also, though, if you didn't notice, you guys, on the team page, I've been asking you guys to share your results with us as well so that we can start sharing them with our people and brag on you guys and whatnot. So make sure that you're sharing those in that thread, because I'm going to raffle off March 15th. So you have through March 15th to do that. After that, I'm closing it. I'm going to be raffling off a 9-week Control Freak trucker hat. That was a mouthful to say. I want to make sure I didn't swear on accident. That was a lot of words. A 9-week Control Freak trucker hat. Yes. Okay. So if you want that hat, I'm giving it to one of you. So make sure that you drop your transformation and a little of your testimony, because when we share before and afters, they absolutely speak side by side, 150%, my friends. And there's power when they hear a little of your story, right? When they see that that was the teacher who was exhausted, but she showed up anyway, or that person was battling this situation. And despite that, she still showed up and did this thing and committed to herself, right? And so make sure you're also sharing those golden nuggets for us, so that as we're sharing your transformations with our people and celebrating you, that we can also celebrate the words behind it, right? Sometimes we want to know what happened between those two pictures. So that's the first announcement. Second announcement, Ultimate Reset, team-wide Ultimate Reset Glow Up, hello, is starting a week from today. It's kicking off. So if you haven't purchased your pack, this is like your last call. I had a challenger who upgraded to a coach today and got her pack, and she did the expedited shipping on it, and it wasn't too crazy added on to that. But make sure if you don't have your pack, or if your people don't have their pack, make sure you're telling them last calls for that, because you want it to arrive in time. And the last thing that I want to tell you guys tonight is we have spring book club kicking off soon. We're taking a weekend off. I think we decided we're taking one weekend off, but then we're going to kind of start mid-March with our next book. And we all decided last Saturday, as we finished up Badass Habits, we all decided on our next book, which is this, Come Matter Here by Hannah Bruncher. Hannah Bruncher is one of my favorite authors currently. She is a Christian author, and her story and her journey through depression and just kind of the mess in her message and how she's lived that out authentically in her life, it's just amazing. And she has such a beautiful way with words that just make you want to get back up, right? And so if you feel defeated at all in any way, shape, or form, her words will literally breathe new life into you. And so this is our spring book. This is what we are reading. If you are reading something different or want to branch off from our book club in any way, shape, or form, just reach out to me and let me know. I'd be happy to see what you can do and how we can fit that in. But guys, that's it from me. I'm about to pass the mic over, but before I do, I got to introduce our girl Charity tonight. So Sarah, who's here on our team call, twinning me, I love it. She, around the holidays, I don't know if you remember, but she started posting these crazy like blizzard recipes. And we were all like, what are those? And how do I get that in my life? And so Sarah started telling us all about this girl that she was watching on social media named Charity. And finally, I was like, Sarah, stop telling me about her and go tell her I need her to speak on our team call. How about that? And so I made Sarah go do the dirty work for me. And so because Sarah did that dirty work for us, we get the pleasure of having Charity pour into us tonight. Just a little bit about her, you guys. These are her shiny accolades. I'm sure she's going to tell us all the nitty gritty about her journey and just who she really is. But she's a 1-star diamond coach, SC5 all-star legend, SC10 all-star. That means that she has consistency, y'all, in the business. Like, that's consistency right there. She's earned every Success Club trip since she started coaching. She actually, this was pretty stinking cool, has led 2 back-to-back team cups to 3rd place in the Central region. So like top team cup teams back to back. And in fact, this last team cup that we all just finished, she finished at SC, wait for it, 42. 42. So already I need y'all to start like generating the questions, because I see your eyes and your jaws and all that stuff. And I see that she probably puts her pants on one leg at a time like we all do. So the secret sauce, whatever you want to know from her, you better start asking those questions tonight. Do not be camera shy about that. Okay, this is the best part. This is where I'm gonna pass it over to her right now, because as we got to talking, I said, hey, can you send me your bio so I just have, the little snippets and whatnot? Sure. She sends it over. Do you guys, she says, I'm from Dallas, Texas, and I'm on the Dallas Market Council. And I said, my friend Charity, I'm from Dallas. Where do you live? Y'all, she lives like down the street from me, literally a stone's throw away. So my new BFF, my new sister in crime, she is on our call tonight. Charity, I'm going to pass it to you and you do your magic, girlfriend.
Okay, I'm going to tell you right up front, I do not have good internet, so hopefully it gets me through this call and nothing happens and I don't get dropped or anything. Also, will I be able to share my screen? I don't know if you have to be a host, or let me see if I'll see if it'll let me. Oh, actually, I think it will. Okay, I didn't know if I had to get like permission first. Yeah, I was totally shocked too whenever she said that she lived in Dallas, because most people think, Dallas is one big area. I'm like right outside of Dallas. Most people don't know where it's at. And when she said where she was at, I'm like, oh my God, we're like literally 10 minutes apart. How have I not met you? Which makes sense because you just moved here. So that's probably how I haven't met you yet. I became a coach in 2015. And I only signed up because I wanted the discount. So always keep that in mind whenever you have discount coaches or preferred customers. Don't discount your discount coaches, because that was me. And actually, before I started, I actually purchased my challenge pack from a swap page on Facebook. Somebody else had already bought it at the time where there were DVDs. And I remember telling my husband, I think I only spent like $75, and that was for a whole bag of Shakeology and for the 21-day Fix Extreme DVDs. I didn't even know anything about that program. I just knew that I needed to do something. I didn't know there was a 21-day Fix regular and then an extreme, so I just jumped right into it. And I needed something because what I was doing wasn't working. I had been to the gym, but I was still going through the drive-through. I didn't know anything about nutrition. I didn't have any support. And when I came home and I told my husband about it, he actually was not a fan that I spent the money on that, because we also in 2004 had purchased Power 90. I don't know if y'all are familiar with that, but Power 90 was before P90X. And this was when we ordered from the infomercial, and I still have the DVDs. It's still in the package. I never even opened it. I never did anything with it. And so I realized shortly after becoming a coach that Power 90 was made by Beachbody, and Beachbody are the same people that made these other DVDs that I was doing. So anyways, I went all in with the program and told myself, if I can get through the 21 days, then I would sign up with a challenge pack underneath a coach. So I ended up showing up every single day. I did all of the things. I drank the shake, even though I hated it at the time. Like, I did not like the formula way back when. And at the end of the 21 days, I had lost 15 pounds. And I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe that it actually worked. I actually followed the directions and it worked. And so after that, I ended up reaching out to the girl who hosted the hip hop hustle class that I was going to at the local gym. And she was telling me she has these virtual boot camps. If I wanted to sign up, I could get on demand. But at the time I was like, no, I do not want on demand. I want something physical in my hands, because I knew that I was probably going to quit. And at least if I quit, I would have something to keep to do later on, which sounds terrible, but it's the way that I was thinking. So I got the, what did I do? I got the Body Beast DVD challenge pack, and I signed up as a coach for the discount. And I remember asking my husband, like, hey, I'm going to do this program. Do you want to do it? He still was like, no, like, you can do that, but I'm not going to do it. We're not going to change what we're doing. We'll support you, but we're not going to do it. And so I remember being really upset, because I'm just like, man, that sucks. Like, I have no support at home, but I had the community from the girls on Facebook in this group. So I started doing the program. And if y'all know about 90 Body Beast, it's 90 days. Like that's a really long program to commit to, probably one of the longest ones that we have next to the P90X program. And so I got almost to the very end of it. And my husband was like, you're like lifting weights. This looks interesting. Can I join you? And let's do it again. And I'm like, oh my God, I finally made it through a 90-day program. And now you want me to start over? I'm like, no. But then I was like, okay, yes, I will do it. So we did it together. And at that point, I wasn't coaching anyone. I was just a discount coach. I was just showing up in the groups. And so him and I started in like September of 2015, and we completed it together. And by December, he had already lost 60 pounds. And I'm like, oh my God, I cannot believe that he just did that. And so shortly after that, he was like the most in shape he's ever been in his life. He was just telling me like, I just want to thank you for giving me my life back. And I'm like, what? Like, I didn't even realize that you felt that way, because when you're married for a long time, you just kind of go through the motions and you don't realize that, things happen, your body changes, you get comfortable. And so he ended up consistently sticking with it with me. And I felt like, well, if I can help him get results, I can help other people. And right around the time I started helping him, I started working my business, sharing on social media, which was the scariest thing I've ever done in my life, because no one wants to put themselves out there while they're in the middle of this transformation process. And so I did it, and people started reaching out, and I started helping them. And I had heard about the Success Club trip, but I didn't really know what all that entailed. Well, come January of 2016, I got an email that said that I was off the wait list to go to Punta Cana. And I'm like, what? Like, is this for real? I don't even have a passport. And so I told him. He was like, how'd you get that? And I was like, helping people. And he's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I guess we're going to go. We got to get passports. So it still didn't feel real until we got off the plane, got off the bus, and we were actually like at the Hard Rock in Punta Cana. And he's like, holy shit. Like, I cannot believe that you earned this for us. We hadn't been on a vacation. We were living paycheck to paycheck, so much debt. Like, he hated his job. He was unhappy. And so for me, that became my why. My why was like, okay, I have to earn an income so that at some point in my life, I can retire him from the job that he does not like. And he didn't like it so much that he was coming home and drinking every single night, like pretty much stayed in the garage. I did my own thing, and we were not communicating. So it was at a time when our marriage was struggling. Shortly after that, we moved in my nephew into our house, and it had just been like one thing after another. And at the time, I was just sharing my highlight reel. I wasn't sharing any of the dark stuff, just what, all the things that everybody shares on social media, which is not like realistic. So I ended up getting that trip. We went on it. And he was like, man, I don't care what you do. As long as you're earning trips, you don't even have to make any money. Like, you can keep doing this. I'm like, okay. So at that point, I kind of like went all in with the business and was like, I'm just going to make as much side hustle money as I can. I don't think I went all in. I just was making extra money because I still had a full-time job. And at that point, it was really hard to do both, but I was making it work. And so fast forward to 2017, 18, we moved in my nephew, and it just was a shit show. Like, he's the same age as my son. We had all kinds of issues. I was battling an eating disorder that I was not talking about. Like, no one knew about it. And Beachbody tells you, like, everyone has a story, and you're like thinking, no, I don't have a story. And if you do have a story, you just don't want to share your story. I think everybody has a story. It's just hard to share those deep, deep, dark things. And so I was going through this, and I knew in the beginning that if I made this work, that it was going to help me get over the eating disorder, battle it, move on, overcome it. And that's actually what ended up happening. I actually learned about nutrition. I was able to build a healthy relationship with food, get myself plugged into a community that was supportive, and inevitably it saved my life. But in 2017, I had a little bit of a relapse, just with like, I gained back all the weight that I had lost. And so I remember not even wanting to show up to Super Weekend that year, because it was in January, and I probably gained more weight than I had lost, and was just like, I do not want to see anyone. I am so upset with myself and everything that's happened. And again, like, a lot was happening at home with my nephew and my kid, my marriage and everything. And so it actually was a community. I just went anyways, even though I was so uncomfortable, I still went and got myself plugged back in. And that was the year I felt like I had my big comeback, 2017, 2018. And I actually said, okay, I'm going to start talking about it. I'm going to start talking about all the stuff that people don't want to talk about. And in 2018, that's when I saw a change in my business, when I finally decided to get vulnerable and put myself out there and just live in my truth. I know people say it all the time and it sounds very cliche, but it's really true. Like, it's the most freeing thing that you can do. And when I started speaking in my truth, I felt like people couldn't hurt me because I'm the one that put it out there. It's not a secret anymore. So I spoke with my family first. I told them what was going on. I got in counseling. I started going to Celebrate Recovery and Al Anon to be able to deal with the alcoholism in our family. And then just genuinely sharing what I was going through as a mom and a wife and all of these dark, scary things through my social media. And people started connecting to me. And when I tell you, like, I almost shut down my Facebook business page because I only had like 200 people following me. And from the time I said, okay, 2018, I'm just going to start being completely myself and stop looking at what everyone else is doing, that's when my page just started growing and growing and growing and growing. And now I think it's like probably roughly at like 70,000 people that follow me. But I feel like they're my people and they actually genuinely want to know what I'm doing, how I'm doing, and they care about me. Like, it's true that you can find like social media besties, like people just like you, if you'll just let your walls come down and just be yourself. We hear it all the time, but it's so true. So that's a little bit about me. That's when I noticed a change in my business was when I actually just was like, okay, I'm just going to be myself and not care what people think about me, which is the hardest thing in this entire business to do, is to just be yourself and not care about people judging you. But that's where the fear factor comes in. So I'm going to go over the success formula with you guys. And I didn't create this formula. I'm a huge fan of Josh Coates and John Maxwell. So some of this might sound familiar if you listen to podcasts from him, read any of his books or anything like that. I'm going to share my screen and then we'll go over this whole little success formula. Okay. All right, I think you guys can see that. Make this smaller. Okay, so the success formula is basically just a way that you can get whatever you want out of life. So it can be in your health and fitness journey. It can be in your Beachbody coaching business. It can just be in life in general. You want to learn something. You want to be successful at it. How do you get that? So I'm going to tell you. So success looks different for everybody. So for me, I already feel like I'm successful in a sense because I've already overcome bulimia and still overcoming body dysmorphia issues. I still look in the mirror and think things about myself, but I'm still, getting over it. It's getting better because I'm being consistent with it. So success for everybody is different. I already feel like I'm successful because I've come so far. Success for you could be just maybe you have this weight loss goal of 50 pounds. And if you could hit 50 pounds, you would feel like you're successful. It could be in the business side, earning enough money to where you can quit your job, or earning enough money where you can go part-time. Actually, in 2019, I earned enough money to where I could go part-time at my job. And now this year, the goal is to quit my job and go full-time with my coaching business. Success for someone could be just having an amazing marriage and being able to earn that full-time income so that you could possibly be at home with your kids more. Your success is completely unique to you, whatever it looks like to you. And so actually, I wanted to ask you guys if you could drop in the comments while I'm talking, just what does success look like for you? If you could have anything and this would be you being successful, what would that look like for you? And I'll come back and check it out here in just a little bit. But if you could drop that, that would be awesome. Okay, so this is my very first, well, not my very first. This is probably my second photo where I told you guys that in 2017, I had put on a bunch of weight. And we actually were at the trip in Riviera Maya whenever I took a photo with this, I think it was like a monkey. Yeah, I wanted to take a photo so bad with this monkey. I didn't even think about what I looked like. So I ran over there, took the photo. And then when I saw the photo, I wouldn't even buy the photo because I was so upset with myself and how I had looked and was just like, what how did this happen to me? And so this was when I decided that year, okay, I'm going to come back stronger than I was before. And then after I did that, this photo on the right was me like last year, like the fittest I had ever been. Still not at my goal weight, because my goal weight isn't really I'm not really trying to get to a goal weight, because now I'm looking at my goals and my success as how I feel and what's going on in my life versus a number on the scale. So the formula for success, which I know you guys all probably would know, you can see it. It's consistency plus intensity plus worth plus time. So there's 4 things there. And those 4 things together are going to equal whatever you want. It's, like I said, it's unique to you. So John Maxwell has said that leaders are dealers in hope. Leaders, leading others is only successful if we have hope to deal. So we're only going to be successful in our journey and in our coaching business if we have hope to deal. That's initially why a lot of us get started in the first place, is because somebody gave us hope to be able to accomplish something that we wanted to do. So for me, it was, I wanted to lose weight and I wanted to feel good about myself. Somebody they breathed in hope to me to make me feel like I was going to be able to do it. And it only, like, drug dealers can only deal drugs if they have drugs to deal. And our drug as coaches is hope. So if hope is the only drug that we have to deal and we lose our hope, we run out of it, we no longer have anything to offer the people around us. And I was kind of getting at a place where I was losing a little bit of hope, but I knew that I had done it before, I can do it again. So if you follow me on social media, you probably already know that I am the biggest believer in everyone else all the time, 24/7. And sometimes I lack a little bit of belief in my own self. I'll doubt myself before I'll doubt anybody else. But I'm very much like, you can do anything that you want to do because I believe in you. And you are more than welcome to borrow my belief in you until you believe it yourself. So without hope, we're basically broke down. It's like literally a broke down car on the side of the road with no gas. Do you know how hard that is to get from point A to point B? If you had to push a broke down car with no gas in it, it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be extremely hard and it's going to be exhausting and you're going to wear yourself out. Let me go to the next one. The next part of that formula is the consistency. So just like Brittany said at the beginning, anyone that you ever talk to that's successful in this business is all going to say the same thing. Even though we know it, we've heard it a million times, the 4 vital behaviors, it really does come down to consistency over time is where you're going to find your results, whether it's in your health and fitness journey or your business. It's the foundation that the entire house is built on. And if you don't have that, nothing else even matters. Consistency isn't just showing up every day and doing something. It's showing up every day and doing the right things. Because it doesn't matter how long you've been doing it. All that matters is how long you've been doing it right. Because you can talk to some people, and I'm sure you guys have, that have showed, like they've told you, like, I've been working out for 15 years, but yet they're still not where they want to be. So they're showing up and they're doing the things, but they're not doing the right things over time. So it doesn't matter, if you've been a coach for 5+ years like me, or if you're a brand new coach, it doesn't matter if you want to lose 50 pounds or if you lost 20 pounds 5 years ago, like I did, and gained it back. All that matters is how long you've been doing those right things consistently. So coaching is, a lot of people say they're doing all the things, right? Like I'm working my business, but then you're not seeing any change in their business. Like if you're their upline and your people are telling you, like, I don't know what's going on, I just keep doing it. Well, probably they're not doing the right things consistently. They want to look like they're doing things and they're doing busy work, but it's not actual like income producing activities. It's just, they're just doing things to be busy. Maybe so they fit in with the team and they feel like they're working their business. So health and fitness, so working out only does not equal, oh yeah, that's right. So working out only doesn't equal your results. A lot of people can work out, but they're not going to get results unless they're doing the right things with their nutrition, the right things with their fitness consistently. That's when they're going to get results. And so our job in this business is to do those things consistently. So, our number one job is to be a product of the product. So that means you have picked a program, you are using the supplements, and you are showing up every single day consistently. You're also posting on your social media every single day so that you can add value to other people, because you can't go to somebody and expect them to give you something if you're not giving them anything, if you're not sharing recipes and you're not just really serving other people. You can't expect them to want to come and even trust you if you've given them really no reason to trust you. So you really have to take time in the business consistently and reaching out to people and inviting them, which I know is the most uncomfortable part of the business, is inviting people. And it wouldn't be so uncomfortable if you were taking time to get to know the people who are already in your warm market, the people who are already following you. And if you're having communication with them, it's not weird to say, oh my God, I'm doing this thing and it completely changed my life. Because I'm sure that it's changed a lot of your lives, whether it's physically or mentally. Like, my mindset now is so much different than when I started this business 5 years ago. I honestly thought personal development was like a joke. I'm like, I don't need that. Now I'm like the personal development queen. Every single day I'm doing more probably than I need to do, but it's what gets me motivated. It's what keeps me showing up every day. It's what helps me when I don't want to do the things consistently. It puts a little fire underneath my ass to keep doing it and learn through, like grow through what we're going through. So why are we not doing the things to get what we want? Well, you'll hear this from any personal development guru, and it's true. Our limiting beliefs are constantly looking for distraction to keep us busy with the things that allow us to avoid what we should be really doing. And I will be the first one to tell you, this happens to me every single day. I'm like, I'm going to be so productive. And I make this checklist of all the things that I need to do in my business. And then it's like 5 o'clock. My husband's getting ready to come home. And I'm like, I literally have done nothing, because I'm like a squirrel. I get all over the place and I try to do all these different things that I never actually finish one thing all the way through. I'm getting better, but my struggle is definitely time management, stop looking at other people's social media, and organization. So if we're afraid to look salesy, wait, what did I say? We're afraid to look salesy, being ghosted in our inbox, or someone saying no, we would rather do. Oh, okay. So that part was just saying that, like, we're so afraid to be told no that we just don't even take the time to send that invite. So if you are somebody who struggles with sending invites to people, you probably need to reevaluate like how you're sharing your health and fitness journey, how you're connecting with people, and how you're inviting them, because we have like a majorly awesome gift to give people, and it's not up to us to decide for them whether or not they get an invitation to that gift. It's up to them. So think about how you're communicating with them so that it doesn't seem like that. And if you are really struggling with inviting, most of you probably know, but there's a book called Eat That Frog, and it's about doing the hardest thing first. And inviting people is your bread and butter. That's bringing people to your business, letting them know you're open. It's how you have a business, is by inviting people. If they don't know by just coming to your page what you have to offer, you got to get in their inbox and actually communicate with them and tell them what you have to offer. I think a lot of times we're just so afraid of getting rejected by people and by our team. We want to fit in so badly. We just avoid it altogether and say we've been working, but our business isn't really showing that we're working. So putting all this energy into looking like we're doing things and taking time and energy is basically like flushing it down the toilet. Like, at some point you have to be honest with yourself. And so you guys that are listening to this right now, if your business isn't moving forward, you really have to like self-reflect and say, am I really doing the income producing activities? Am I really doing the business activity tracker? Because I actually was not doing the business activity tracker. Even though I was having some success, I wasn't doing it. And when I got into the Push to 2-Star group, it was like bare minimum. Like, if you want to be in this group, you got to fill out the tracker every single day. And so now I'm like preaching that same thing to my team. Like, hey, I know I wasn't doing it, but we have to do it. This is the directions. It's like the manual for our business. Do these things consistently over time, and you're going to be successful in this business. Just like the 4 vital behaviors. It's very simple. Like, this whole business is very simple. We just overcomplicate it with our own limiting beliefs. So you just need to ask yourself, are you really doing the right things, or are you just here because you want to play around? And I know that's like a really tough pill to swallow, but you have to really get down and ask yourself. The next part of the equation is intensity. Intensity is having the right energy. So if you're scrolling social media and you want to get someone's attention, you got to put yourself out there in a way that will get people's attention. Like with 9-week control freak. If you're like, well, I'm going to do the program, but I really am not wanting to, so I'm kind of going to invite. And then Charity over here is like, oh my God, I'm so pumped up about 9-week control freak. It's a different program than I've ever done. And I'm so excited because every workout is between 18 and 28 minutes. Like, we're going to get some killer results. You're going live, you're sharing that, you're wearing like bright neon colors. Chances are somebody's going to be more attracted to the intensity that Charity's showing versus someone who's like, well, I'm just going to do it because, everyone in Beachbody is doing it. Like, no, you got to have intensity with everything that you're sharing. And it doesn't have to be like every single thing, but most things. Like, you want people to stop and say, what is she doing? How can I get that energy? I want to be a part of that. So you have to ask yourself, are you putting something out there that your audience wants to grab onto? Or does it look like every other single bland thing on social media that if you're not going to stop scrolling, why would they stop scrolling? Like, you've got to really put intensity into what you're sharing. Get their attention. So I did put the example here, like if two people are sharing the same thing, but one is like on fire and they're so excited about what's happening and the other one's just kind of boring. You have to burn so bright that people literally want to come around and come to your page to see what it is that you're doing. Like, if you've ever driven down the highway and there's like a fire on the other side, a car's on fire, people will literally rubberneck and get into a wreck on the totally opposite side of the highway just so they can see what's going on over there and film it. So you have to have that kind of intensity that people stop what they're doing every day to go to your page and see what you're doing. People will tell me all the time that they look forward to my stories, and I'm like, really? Like, I'm just sharing my life. And that's what people connect with, is just you being genuine and authentic. So the law of energy is when the energy is high and everyone is excited, even the people who weren't excited they decide to get excited because it seems like something's going on. It's the same thing with the car accident. When people are driving down the road, you probably don't even care, but when everybody else is trying to look and see what's happening, you're like, wait, what? That's the same thing when you're sharing on your social media. You have to have that kind of intensity. And then the other part of the equation is your worth. I think a lot of us don't realize that we have worth because things happen to us throughout life that diminish that worth a little bit. The most important part of this is that you were given worth the day that you were born. You are special. You are unique. You are you. Like, no one else can be you. Only you can be you. There's nothing in this world that you can do to earn it. Like, you were just born with it. God gave it to you. He had a purpose for you, whether you knew it or not. And I didn't know my purpose. I didn't really feel like I had one. I was 30 something years old and didn't really have a career. And when I really got into my whole genuine, authentic self and started sharing, I'm like, oh my God, I have a gift to share with people. And I feel fulfilled and purpose and passion every single day that I show up. And I've never felt like that about anything else that I've ever done in my life. So I'm like, we have something amazing here. And if you really get plugged in and let yourself be vulnerable, it can probably happen for you too. If you are a human being, which you all are, then you're worthy. Nothing you have ever done can take that away from you. It's just that, like I said, a lot of times in life, things happen and we get all this extra baggage from experiences that we go through that diminish the worth that we felt like we once had. Like, for instance, my mom, when I was 19 and I was pregnant with my son, decided that she was going to leave her marriage for somebody who lived in the neighborhood, which was very traumatic. And then I got pregnant. So I had all of these things happening to me. And then also, like, we had some other major family issues happening that it was just like one thing after another. And it just made me feel like, what the freak? I don't feel. And then, when you have like a situation like I had in 17, when my husband was not loving his job and he was coming home every day and drinking every night in the garage, I started to question my own worth. Like, if he loved me or cared about me, he would be spending time with me. And I had to realize that, like, that has nothing to do with me. I already have worth. Put all that other stuff aside and realize that you can only control your controllable. Every answer you will ever need is already living inside of you. Sometimes you just have to like unravel it and unpack all the things that have happened to you and like release it and let it go. People don't need us to come along and teach them something. They need us to come along and draw something out of them that's already been there, just like what's already been inside of me. It was already inside of me, but I just had to believe in myself enough to go for it, do the program. I never thought in 2015, by committing to a health and fitness workout program, that I was going to completely transform my mindset. I didn't know that I was going to ever show up on social media and start sharing things about my personal life, or that I would earn an income, or that I would take trips with my family, or that I would be able to quit my job. I never ever would have thought that just signing up for a workout was going to change my whole life and save my whole life and my marriage, like everything. The problem is that because we've experienced these really bad things in our life, we let those things become the measurement of our worth. And they were never supposed to be. It just, things happen and we get consumed with it and we start questioning everything. So let me talk about the worth and the comparison. I think we all do this. If you follow other people on social media, and hopefully I never make you feel like you have to compare yourself to me, because I'm very open about just being yourself. Like, you don't have to be me. You don't have to compete with me. Just be you. And if like I can inspire, empower, and encourage you, then keep showing up and letting me do that. So if you have kids, which I'm sure some of you do, I only have one, he's 17. You probably believe in them more than anyone else in the world. I know that I do. I tell them, like, you can do anything you want. You can be anything you want. There is nothing about them that they could do that would ever make you like abandon them or just say you're worthless or you're never going to make amount to anything. You would never say that to your kid, right? Because you believe in them. They make mistakes, but in our eyes, they're perfect. Like, we forgive them, we move on. There's nothing they could ever do that would make us not want to support them. But if someone came to you and said something bad about your kid, you would not allow it. You would be so offended. You would be like, the mama bear would be coming out and you would be like, Fight Club, it's on. But yet at the same time, we do the same thing to ourselves every single day. We look in the mirror and we say, oh, like, you have stretch marks, you have cellulite, your teeth are crooked. Like, I've done it. I still sometimes do it. And I'm getting a better handle on it, but I still sometimes see that old mindset and version of myself where I question my own worth. Like, why can't I look like so-and-so? Why can't I dress like them? But you would never, ever let somebody come up in your house and talk crap about your kid. So you have to stop doing that right now, because you have worth. No one can take that away from you. Okay. And then self-confidence is also part of worth. You have to work on your self-confidence. And the way that you do this is through one of our vital behaviors. It's personal development. It's change, like whatever you're struggling with, there's a personal development out there for you for it. Something I've had to start doing is daily affirmations. And I remember thinking, that's so dumb. Like, how is that supposed to work? But there's an Instagram filter that every morning is a different daily affirmation. And sometimes it's exactly what I need to hear and to remind myself that, you know what, I got this. Like, I'm awesome. People want to be my friend. And sometimes I'll even watch my own stories like 25 times a day. And I'm like, man, if I wasn't me, I would want to be friends with me. But I didn't used to be that way. I never even would share anything. So I think that you got to do the personal development. You got to do the daily affirmations. Say the things out loud that I have a thing over here that says, my team, we are an elite team. It hasn't happened yet, but I'm putting it out into the universe that it's going to happen. Everything we believe about ourselves is a combination of repetition and emotional experiences. So if you have told yourself 100 times how unhappy you are and how ugly you are, you're going to have to work a whole hell of a lot harder to reprogram your mind to realize how awesome you are. You are a badass. awesome book. I even went out and bought the little button that says, you can do it. So you just have to keep reminding yourself every single day. These affirmations are powerlifting for your soul. So the same way you show up and you get your workout in every single day consistently is the same way you have to retrain the belief in yourself that you're amazing, you're awesome, you got this, you have all the tools that you need. Now you just have to apply the formula and be consistent. And the last part of this whole thing is time. Like we all have the same amount of time in a day, but yet some of us are just like, oh, I don't have time. No, it's about what you're willing to do with that time to be consistent and to move your business forward. It can be the biggest blessing or it can be the biggest curse. If you get on TikTok, you're probably going to be on there for a really long time and you're going to waste a lot of time. We're consistently reaping the results of the last 3 to 6 months of the work that we've put in. So just because you spend one day out of the week busting your butt, inviting all the people, doesn't mean that those seeds that you planted are gonna like grow next week. It's gonna be a while. So we have to constantly be looking. Well, we're constantly looking at the numbers right now, thinking that it's a reflection of the work that we just did yesterday, but it's not. It's a reflection of the work that we've done the past few months, which is why Team Cup can be a really, really good thing in your business. If you were doing all the things consistently last month, you're going to start seeing the harvest from that in April, May, June. But as soon as you take your foot off the gas, you're going to see it. In this kind of business, it's constantly working. You have to show up every single day. And I always say, you only show up on the days that you want to make money. So then you got to show up every damn day, every single day, doing all the things so that you can continue to keep accelerating on the gas so that your business keeps moving forward. Anytime I take my foot off the gas, I can see it in my paycheck. I can see it in every part of my business. So it's important that you consistently do those things and utilize the time that you do have to be productive. So what can you do right now that will change the results that you'll have 6 months from now? Do not allow today's results to trick you into thinking that everything is screwed up. It's just like getting on the scale. You get on the scale and you have like a weight gain day, and all of a sudden you want to throw in the towel because you had a weight gain day. But what you probably didn't realize is the information on the scale is just that. It's just information telling you that something you did over the weekend didn't really adjust well with your body. It doesn't mean that every single day you weren't putting in the work and every single day you weren't having slow progress. You just had one day that it went up. It doesn't mean throw in the towel and say, forget it. You have to be consistent with all the activities that you're doing. Let's see. So that's another thing. If you're constantly changing what you're doing in the business or what you're doing in your health and fitness journey, you're never going to reap the harvest. The people who are having success are the people who are putting their head down for months and months at a time and doing the work. If you're somebody who's been on your health and fitness journey for like 20 years, but you've been trying every fad diet that came out, you haven't stuck with anything consistently enough to see your harvest grow. It's the same thing in the business. If you're not doing the 4 vital behaviors consistently and the tracker, well, it's no wonder your business isn't moving forward. You're not doing the things you're supposed to be doing consistently that we know work. So that's basically it. So it's all those 4 things. The formula is be consistent, show up every single day and do your vital behaviors, just like you're doing in your health and fitness journey. Be intense with your personality, like be so on fire that people can't help but to come to your page and see what you're doing so that they want to join you. Know your worth. Do your daily affirmations, do your personal development, remind yourself how much of a badass you are, and use your time wisely. If you do all of those things together, there's like no reason why you can't rock the shit out of this business and your health and fitness journey. That's what I have for you.
Girl, lit in a fire. I freaking love it. Okay, Sarah's allowed to stay on our team for at least another month. Okay, guys, drop questions that you have for Charity in the chat, please. Let's get some questions going here as we round out the night. Kristen said, can you give us some examples of how you shared your struggles?
Oh, I know this can be super uncomfortable, but there's been a ton of times where like things have been going great in my business. I was doing great. I was being what I feel like successful, just thriving in my business. And then I can let one little thing deter me, like coming home and then my husband decides he wants to drink, which to me, like it triggers me because we do come from a family of alcoholism. And so just the whole alcohol, I don't really like, I will drink when we go on Success Club trips, but I'm very cautious with being around other people who are drinking just because of my experiences with it. And I'm going somewhere with this. So there's been times where he'll be drinking and then I just get in this mood and I snap and then we get into a huge fight and then I'm crying and I'm just like, I feel so alone right now. Every now and then I have snapped a photo during that time that I felt like the only person on the planet who could be going through this experience. And then maybe the next day when I'm more level-headed and clear focused, I would share that photo and share it in a way that someone sees it and they connect to it because first of all, they see emotion. Like it's so weird how people are drawn to other people when they show up on social media and they share emotion. I can be telling my story about my health and fitness journey, and then I will like just let myself be vulnerable and I will start crying. If you guys have even followed my Facebook page, you will see that probably like once a week, I'm like emotional. And so I'll share it in a way that it encourages somebody, but then also let them know that like, hey, I wasn't always this way. I didn't always feel like confident in myself, but through whatever my experience is. And a lot of times it does have to do with our community through getting plugged in, through showing up for myself in the physical aspect. I've been able to transform my mindset and everything else, like my income and like our family. And I just feel like I've controlled the controllable. But I also have said, like I'm not perfect, and personal development and knowing when to say, okay, I don't have it all figured out, and sharing that through my stories and also in my posts. You can go probably look at some of my old posts and you'll see that I share it that way. And I use it as a way to connect with people. And then from there, that connection builds and people trust me. And they know that that's the one thing I hear pretty much like every single day. You're so real. And I'm like, why would I want to be anything else? Like, why would you want to just show up and post a perfectly curated photo of your family? Like that's not real life. Like we have fights and my kid can be an asshole. And like when I was teaching him how to drive, I thought I was going to kill him or he was going to kill me driving. Like I shared all of those experiences because that's real life and people connect to that. And they were like, oh my God, like I've experienced that too. And once you can do that with other people, they actually get to know you on a real level. Most people, I think, are too afraid of what other people are going to think if they say, oh, my husband and I had a big fight. Okay, yeah, so we had a fight, but I know that we're going to work it out. But at the same time, people need to know that it's okay. Like it happens. It's okay to not be okay, especially with all the mental health stuff right now that's happening. And another way that's cool that we can share about our community is like, while everything else was like a shit show for everyone during COVID, like people have asked me, like, did anything change for you? And I'm like, not really. I still had my workouts. I still stuck to my meal plan. I still had my community, and I was still showing up every day in the virtual boot camp and the virtual gym with the people who work with me. Like I still stayed plugged in where a lot of people lost all sense of connection with people. So you just really have to get down and say, okay, if I can let go of the fear of what other people think, and that was the biggest thing that was holding me back. I was too concerned with what people were going to think about me if they found out my mom cheated on my dad, or if they found out that I had an eating disorder. Now I'm a health and fitness coach. What are they going to think about that? Who gives a shit what they're going to think about it? Because the people who are going to be connected to you and the people who need to hear your story are going to hear it, and they're going to reach out to you. And people have messaged me and said, you're so brave. I cannot believe that you share this stuff. And I'm like, but it's real life. That's what we're really going through. I think that's an example.
Can I
Just
ask
be
a quick
vulnerable.
question about the tracker?
Uh-huh.
So Britt's going to reach through the screen and just smack me. So let me just put that full disclosure right there. I am just like you in that regard, where I know what I have to do. I know I'm not a stupid person.
Mhm.
And I just, I have a love-hate relationship with that stupid thing. Yet I know it's going to do it. So did you find that one little, not the winning ticket, but maybe something that could veer me that way to help, even if just a little bit?
No, and actually I can show you my tracker for 225. It's not even filled out all the way. There's like several spots that aren't filled out, and days that I missed, because I'm very much like, if someone messages me, I want to stop right then and respond, but then I don't have a way to track it because I'm in the middle of work or I'm not where I can track it. So that's something that I'm learning actually right now in the 2-star push group, is like, you're going to get kicked out if you're not filling this out. Bottom line, it's just like any other thing. Like, you'll hear on the National Wake Up Call, I think Fitzpatrick said it the other day on her hot seat call that we had. She said, if you're not doing the tracker, you don't get my time, which sounds kind of crappy, but it's like, hey, 4 vital behaviors in tracker, that's all you have to do. If you're doing this, then you get a one-on-one. If you're not doing this, then you don't get a one-on-one. Like, you have to be very, and so what Johnny On told me was that he said the word consequences, and I didn't like that, because I'm like, I'm in a business where I'm my own business. I don't need anybody telling me about consequences. Like, I remember telling my husband, like, well, who does he think he is telling me I don't have consequences? I'm like, no, I don't think so. And so what he was saying was, like, you have to give yourself rewards and consequences, whatever you have to do to make yourself do the tracker. And so there were some other girls in the push group that are saying, like, they let their husbands know, hey, this is the goal, I have to fill this out every day. What is my consequence if I don't do it? And like, one of the girls, she had to work overtime at work for every day that she didn't fill out the tracker. So she would stay up till midnight if she had to make sure that she checked off all the boxes on the tracker. Or just like in your health and fitness journey, like, okay, if I get to my first 10-pound goal weight, I can buy a new Fabletics outfit or whatever. So that's what he told us, but I'm still finding that I still struggle with it because I spent so long not doing it. Now I have to undo what I've been doing. So, I mean, I think that it's okay to feel that way. We just have to get disciplined and do it. Like, I'm still struggling. And I thought during Team Cup that I was going to get it down, and I still haven't got it down. Like, I still have a message I have to send to him to tell him that I didn't do it, because I think he's probably going to kick me out of the group. But if he kicks me out, then that's my consequence. And I have to come back and prove myself. And I know all the things too. I'm like, I know what to do. Why am I still a 1-star? Because I'm not doing it like I should be. I already know. So sometimes you just have to back yourself up against the wall. And that's the thing with my business too, is like, I'm still part-time because there's like the safety net there of, I still get a paycheck there, but it's not very good. And there's a lot of things that aren't good about the job. Like, it's a bad environment. I don't have any benefits, but I know if I could just get this crap together, I could make way more money. And I have actually made more money than I make at my job, but I want to be like, I have this certain number that I want to be at before I just quit altogether. And what I've heard from some people, some coaches, like one coach, she went to NLC last year. She was a 1-star diamond, just like me last February. She's now a 5-star elite coach. And she basically gave herself a deadline and said, okay, I'm going to quit my job. She had a mortgage and everything. And she quit her job, kind of backed herself into a corner, came to her team and said, like, this is what I want to do. And they all ran and pushed together. And now she's like, she was like a guest speaker at the NLC. And I'm like, what? Oh my God, that's crazy. So I know that I can do it. I have the belief in myself, but sometimes there's something and they're just saying, oh, you don't have time, or you just have to do it. I know that's not what we want to hear, but it is what it is.
No, but that's what they need to hear. I love it, girl. And the fear of success, right? Like, sometimes we put ourselves 1 foot in, 1 foot out without ever, we think we're both feet in, but we're really on the edge, and we have this 1 foot still over here, gripped onto something that's a safety net that maybe is the reason we're not actually like giving ourselves those puke goals and having urgency. Hey, talk to us about SC42. Don't think you can get off this call and address that.
I'm going to straight up say that I think that is exactly what we already know. Consistency. Like, I'm constantly having conversations with people every single day, like sending them information, talking, and like, the more that you're in their ear, and then they see you showing up every single day. So when they're ready, and actually, I think I have somebody on this call, and I'm just going to call her out. Well, a couple of them. Okay. Brianna Holly right here. She followed me for 5 years. Okay. 5 years she followed me and actually unfollowed me, sent me a friend request. And I'm like, what? This is so weird. And I told my husband, I don't know. I feel like I know this person, but I don't know this person because it says we're not friends. Well, then she tells me that she unfollowed me for her own reasons, whatever. She couldn't stand watching me, and then came back and said, okay, I'm ready to join you. I've been following you through my husband's account. And I'm like, what? you've been following me for 5 years. So me being consistent through all of those ups and downs, she still came back to me and said, okay, I'm ready to do this, and is doing it. And her husband's doing it with her. There's another girl on this call, Des. She literally signed up with someone else and messaged me and was like, hey, I'm a coach now. And I just need to know if you can help me figure out, what do I do? Like, do I do workouts? And I'm like, what? What do you mean? For what? Don't you signed up with someone else? Hold on, back up. You didn't think I was just going to ignore the fact that you just signed up with someone else, did you? And so I straight up was like, what was that about? Like, I'll ask people, did I do or not do something that made you not want to join me? And what could I do differently? All the time I ask people, like, is there something, maybe we didn't connect, maybe our vibe and tribe wasn't in alignment. That's cool. I just need to know, what could I have done differently? What made you go to someone else versus me? I've actually had quite a few girls that did that. Another one, she signed up with someone else as a coach, and it was within the 10 days. She couldn't get a hold of that person, reached out to me. And in October, from October to now, she's already lost 30 pounds and was like, thanks for giving me a second chance. And I'm like, yeah, we all need a second chance. But I think it's just consistently showing up every single day. Like, don't take 5 days off and then think that people are going to be like, I want to join charity. Like, she hadn't even worked out in 5 days, or she's all over the place. Like, I've even told my coaches, like, your business isn't open if you're not showing up consistently. And people know when they see your page that they know one of two things. I can start my health and fitness journey with this person, or I can start a business with this person. They should be able to know by looking at your social media what it is that you do, and that there's an opportunity for them to join you. And I think that's what it is for me, honestly, is just consistency all the time. I'm constantly having conversations with people so that when the timing is right for them, when the money is right for them, whenever their head is right for them, they're going to come back out and reach out to me. And I think that's what happened in February. Like, I actually went into that month thinking, oh my God, this is going to suck, because I had done so good in January and December. And I work my husband's business, which you're not supposed to do that. He has his own business. We don't have controlled accounts. They will tell you that in compliance. You don't have a controlled account. That is Joseph's business. But I mean, I kind of work it. So I did 2 team cups. I did my own where I was the leader. And then I joined another one because I thought, well, I'm going to try to get this sweatshirt. Still didn't get the sweatshirt. But anyway, so I was giving myself 2 chances to do it. And I was really concerned that I wasn't going to be able to like step up to the plate if I'm focused on mine. But I did. Like, I had the most on mine and the most on his, and like still killed it. Like, I think we let our limiting beliefs think that we can't do these things that we have every ability to do. We just have to get out of our own way and just do the things.
So good. I love it. I love it. I wrote down that they should know one of 2 things the second they arrive on your page.
And like, maybe you guys have a call one night where you just like, hey, there's a lady that does it. The Hey Girl, Stop the Hey Girl. She'll spend a Friday night going through people's Instagrams and just saying, okay, well, like, there's no consistency. Like, you're all over the place. You got a picture of your dog on your profile, and like, just like looking at other people, like looking at your team members' social medias and kind of like auditing them and seeing if you went to that page and you looked at it, is that somebody that you would want to join? And making sure you have other things besides just health and fitness. Like, you have to show things that you like and you enjoy too.
Yeah.
Which I think we all know that.
It's that shift, I think, right? A lot of times there's a shift from how we used to potentially use social media before we became coaches to now how we would utilize it as more of a business owner or a public figure, an influencer account. And there's a shift, and you have to be willing to make that shift. Otherwise, it's just never, it's only going to get so far, right? You're only going to attract the people who, you know, are closest to you. And then after that, it's like stranger dangers don't care to know your account because they don't know what you can give to them. So I love that. Thank you. So many good gut checks tonight. So many good gut checks tonight.